The date is May 18th, 2014, and I'm coming to you to talk about parasites, worms that invade the human body. Um, and I'm gonna take the information from the African Holistic Health book by Dr. Layla Africa. Um, I'm going to be reading it from this, but I've looked up parasites and all types of parasites before. But it was something interesting that he said about the parasites which made me want to talk about it in case a lot of people don't know. Parasites are in almost everything, not just pork. Because a lot of people say, oh, you shouldn't eat pork because pork has worms and parasites in it. All meat has parasites in it, and seafood as well. A lot of us who say, okay, I'm going to go vegetarian, but I'm going to eat seafood, or I'm going to go, I'm trying to get off meat or whatever, so I'm just going to have seafood and fish. I found that there are a lot of parasites in fish, many different kinds of parasites. And the best way to kill parasites would be to freeze them instead of buying fresh meat or seafood and then cooking it. Because sometimes you can cook the meat or seafood, depending on the degrees, and some of the parasites will still be alive. In no way, shape, or form should you be eating raw seafood because you don't know what type of parasites are in there. A lot of people eat sushi. I've never eaten sushi before, but I've seen shows and documentaries about parasites where people have eaten seafood and gotten all types of parasites. But anyway, from this book from Dr. Africa, it says worms are parasites. They live off the waste in the gastrointestinal tract, stomach, intestines, rectum, etc. They also live off waste in the prostate and vagina. When food stays in the body too long, it putrefies and causes poisons such as proteins, and I guess this is leucomains or ferments, causing poisonous or poisons such as carbon dioxide, ammonia, acetic acid, vinegar, and alcohol. Improper food combinations such as eating meat and starch together, hamburgers, milk, cereal, sugar, starch, cake, cookies, pastries, fruit, starch, pies, jelly, sandwiches causes worms. Eating late at night, which causes food to ferment and putrefy in your stomach, can cause worms. Eating fried foods, unwashed vegetables and fruits, milk, cheese, ice cream, eggs, and any type of meat causes worms. Worms multiply and hatch eggs all over the body, the muscles, blood, intestines, etc. Worms can be found under the scalp and eat away at the hair, resulting in baldness. They can be under the facial skin, also in facial bumps. Worm colonies result in decreased absorption of vitamins and minerals from the gastrointestinal tract. People with worms tend to be hungry because the worms are eating the food. Worms can cause diarrhea, rectal, anus, facial, scalp, itching, muscle pain, loss of weight and appetite, digestive problems, and the crawling feeling under the stomach and under the skin. Worms can invade the body from walking barefoot on soil contaminated by a dog, cat, human, or rodent manure, letting worm infested animals lick your face, touch your skin, walk in your home, or eating uncooked or partially cooked meat that has worm eggs or larvae. Meats usually has worms. And kissing and having sex with or touching a worm infested person or people can cause you to get worms. There are many types of worms, such as thread worms, round worms, tapeworms, pinworms, and worms. The most dangerous worms, again, the most dangerous worms are in seafood. And this is coming from Dr. Africa again. And like I said, I've done research on different types of worms, parasites, whatever you want to call them. And when I heard about the seafood, I was shocked. But for him to say it again is kind of shocking. And then it says worms have many different shapes, colors, sizes. Some of them are transparent. And so on and so on. Sometimes if you have vaginal itching, can be caused by worms. The feeling of worms crawling inside the prostate or sex organs can be misinterpreted as a feeling of a sexual arousal. It is a worm sensation, not a sex sensation. So I'm just sharing this information because a lot of us think that just pork has worms, or they have the most worms, whereas Dr. Africa stated that seafood has the most parasites in them. And I did some research where someone was talking about fish has a lot of different types of parasites. Some of them even look like the flesh of the fish. It's like a furry, fleshy type material, which are actually worms, and I think they're called flute worms, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, I'm just sharing this information with you. So if you're, still eating meat or whatever, we have to just, be careful, wash everything off. Even if you're a vegan, vegetarian, or whatever you are, you have to make sure you wash your fruits and vegetables. Sometimes they have parasites, worms, and pesticides on them. Make sure you clean them. But if you're still eating and or seafood, I would not only wash it, but I would probably freeze it to make sure I'm killing all the worms. Because like I said, sometimes you can cook it and think you're cooking the worms out of it, and the worms probably could be buried deep down inside the meat. And that's what you're eating. So let's just be cautious, careful, share information, and be helpful to one another. I'm wishing you a prosperous, abundance, empowering day, beloveds. Thanks for listening. This is the Goddess Sapphire.